down on it. Get down on it. Hello, hello, hello. I put my Corvette on the dyno the other day. Took a little vacation as well this last week. Back to work this week though, but had a nice little vacation. The wife and I went down to Sedona, Arizona, and did a bunch of hiking. Ate a lot less food than we normally eat, which was kind of weird. And rented a UTV, some RZR, a couple of them. Went for a 4-hour freaking jaunt down some trails. Got some really good pictures. Went on a helicopter ride. Did lots of cool stuff. It was a good time. I'm trying to find music that is eBay YouTube friendly. I don't know if you guys remember or not. I got shut down the other day midstream because I picked up a firearm and started showing you guys the BRN 180S. That one's actually the S. The 180 is the full size. The S is the short one, the pistol length. And midstream, while I was talking and holding the gun up, phone went black. Bloop. It fucking went completely black. It was like, see you. This content has been removed, it said. I thought that was hilarious. Which is just absolutely insane that we live in a world of that kind of censorship. It's insane to me we live somewhere with this kind of censorship. You know, like people are flipping out about the Chinese censoring the internet and everything. And now everyone is totally okay with freaking YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. And everybody's censoring people they don't like, and this whole cancel culture thing and all that. It's crazy. That sucked. So that was it was irritating to say the least to get censored for holding a firearm. It's crazy. But anyways, went to Arizona. We did went and saw some like couple 1,000-year-old ruins. Basically just these brick houses that the natives built in the side of these mountains, these red rock and sandstone and limestone mountains. That was really cool. Went and saw just a bunch of the formations. With that one, there's a chapel, cathedral thing up on a hill. I wish during the live stream I had a way of bringing up my photo reel and showing you guys some of these places because it's really fucking cool. Some really cool views out there. Okay, so I told people I was going to Sedona, right? And they were like, "Oh my God, it's the most beautiful place in the world." And I'm like, "I don't think so." Like, what's up, dude? I was like, I live in the most beautiful place in the world. I don't know what about that. I mean, it's probably pretty cool, right? And oh man, once you see those red rocks, you're just gonna be in love. It's gonna be like blow your mind. And I'm like, I've been to Zion, right? I've been to Zion and Utah, and you know the rocks and shit are cool, but it ain't like I'm like, oh man, I just fucking love this place so much. Oh my God, you know. And so I go to Sedona, Arizona, and these gigantic rock formations that they have that they say were eroded by the oceans. Now, granted, we're at 5,000 feet, right? Like 4,600 feet to 5,600 feet of elevation. And they say that the oceans, when they were this high, eroded the mountains down and deposited, you know, all these sediment layers, all this kind of shit. And I'm like, motherfuckers, the ocean was at 4,500 feet, and you bitches are crying about a foot? I don't know. But they were cool. And they were very interesting. Like, I'm interested in geology. I almost took some geology in college, but it wasn't towards my degree. And geology wasn't going to help me build cooler parts, so I didn't do that in college. But I wanted to take a geology class. I want to learn more about dirt. You know, why not? Learn more about how the earth is, you know, made, and learn just more about everything. I mean, who does? I mean, I don't understand people that don't want to continue to learn, but I always want to learn. And so I want to learn as much as I can about as much as I can. And geology was one of those things that did interest me and stuff. So I took rocks for jocks. So like Geology 101 for sports guys. I get it. And and all they did was teach you better nicknames to call each other that were like geologically, you know, related. Phallic stuff and more rock stuff. That's funny. Anyways, it was really cool. Some of these the features there, they're mind blowing that they could even be created. And we went on these really long and in some cases really steep hikes. I went to, in fact, the thumbnail for this video is a picture of, you know, one of those land bridges. They call it Devil's Bridge out there. If you look at Devil's Bridge, you can see it. It's a few hundred feet off the ground, and it's, you know, a few feet wide, and people hike all the way up there and corral it all night and take their picture. And so I went out there and jumped around and did a dance, pretended to lose my balance. You know, my wife was taking a picture. She was freaking out. She is not one for heights, and I was, you know, up there, and she thought it looked like it was super narrow and scary, and it was like I could have parked my car on it. It wasn't that narrow, and everybody was like terrified of heights. It was really funny. Those people like crawling around. I'm like, just stand up and walk, people. I don't. I mean, I'm not careless. I think I have a rational level of fear when it comes to dealing. I won't go stand right next to a fucking tall edge, or next to an edge from a tall cliff when it's windy. That would be just absolutely dumb, right? Like that'd be dumb. But to be 10, 15 feet back and freaking out because it's so high up, it's like you could fall down, lay flat twice before you came close to the ledge. Like, chillax. Ooh, what's going on up here? Lots of fucking lights. Let's see what's going on here. I got sirens and lights and what do we got? That looks like an upside down something. No, I misunderstood what that I was seeing there. That's just a nice collision. Little header there. Oh, I fucking covered the camera up. Wow, I'm an idiot. Sorry, guys. It was a little car got smacked in the front. Nothing crazy. Just a little smack in the front, lots of shit. Lots of people there. Sorry, I was watching the road and looking at the car instead of seeing what my feed was looking like. You didn't miss anything. Anyways, yeah, so she was wigging out about how close it was to the edge, and then she had like crawl down these steps to get down there. I'm walking these steps and she's scooting on her butt. I'm like, sweetheart, it's just steps. Please stand up. I'm scared. I'm like, all right, well, I appreciate you up here in the first place. So, you know, it's good for you that you were brave enough to go up in the first place. So, I wasn't going to be mean to her because, you know, she's got her fears, and I love her to death. So we had a good time. We had on a couple hikes. The UTVs was a lot of fun. There was one time though on this really windy section of road that I was really ripping on the RZR 1000, and she's like, "Honey, slow down," and I said, "No." Just no, I'm not slowing down. This is what's happening right now. Like there's a level at which unfounded fear becomes a burden, and I'm not letting your unfounded fear burden our good time, or at least my good time in this case. So I was like, no, I'm not slowing down. That's not happening. We're fucking doing this. We're ripping through these fucking roads, you know. It's a good time. Now, if we were next to like a cliff or something and she was freaking out, I'd slow down some because there's actually a cliff and she got scared. But there was no cliff. It was just a windy road, and we were just ripping. I was having a good time apparently, and she wasn't. But anyways, it was beautiful. It wasn't beautiful. I did not find it beautiful. I found it interesting. But I wouldn't want to look at that every day. Like I wouldn't want to sit on my back porch and look at those fucking rock formations. I just, I think because to me the desert, while it has life, it isn't really great life. Like it isn't like super cool or anything, I don't think. So I was interested in the formations and trying to figure out how that all happened. But beyond that, I love where I live. I love the trees, love the mountains. I don't love the fucking smoke though. Looks like there's not a fire going on. It was super clear this morning. Now it's super smoky.
I know. It was all clear. Last couple days. Let's have another fire.
Dude, all these fucking fires. Canada's been on fire a lot. Probably shouldn't park in the middle of 2 parking spots. That'd be a total dick move. Life comes home. No, honey, you can't park in the driveway. Let me fix that. Let me fix that for the girl. For the lady. And then my old buddy Sean, he's the one that owns the twin turbo Nova that I went to Ohio in March or April to wire and build the engine, get it installed and get it running. I'm sure you guys may have seen those videos. He came out to visit with his wife, and we just toured around the area, went on some mountain roads, some drives, went to the lakes like Lake Pend Oreille and Coeur d'Alene and things like that. Drank way too much and all of that. Matt says he misses his side-by-side. I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. Those things are way overpriced. Like the RZR 1000. It was fun. Like, look at the price tag on those things. It's not a $20,000 fun. No fucking way. But they start at 20 grand. Like there's nothing about that says $20,000 to me. That's an $8,000 machine. I would never pay $20,000 for that. There isn't that much fun in there or engineering. I mean, it was a fucking rattle trap for one, and it just wasn't that impressive. 20 grand? What the fuck? I need to build UTVs. What it boils down to, right? Like I need to design and build UTVs because that shit's a fucking racket. 20 grand for a handful of fucking steel arms, a chassis and a $600 motor. Like the fuck. I want to turn my temporary solutions into permanent ones. Is that the RZR comment? Matt said that's why he sold it. Come on, come back. Felt bad having 13,000 wrapped up in something I use 4 times a year. Yeah, man. Like I would probably use it more than that because I got 10 acres, but it would still only be like a couple times a month. Is my audio way out of sync on the video? Because in my phone, it seems like it's out of sync. I'll wait for that answer to come in. Looks fine. Okay, cool. Well, hey, if the phone's... Yeah, that's true. If they have race cars, make it to the track, unless they're UTVs, which people do that too, I guess. Yeah, they build their drag Subarus or whatever, and then only go a few times a year or something. Oh, there's another fucking... There's more police shit going on down there. Oh, the sheriff's active. Four times a year would be sick. Man, let me tell you, the good old days. I'm in my house here. Yeah, Nick, actually last night, holy shit, total ton of coyotes. There were so many coyotes out last night by our house that I was afraid Max got eaten last night. And I was dreaming about coyotes because I heard so many last night. Sorry, I just got home. I got heartburn. Holy crap, I got heartburn. Let me tell you why. You guys ever watched that show Hot Ones? I got their hot sauces, a couple of them. I got the one from the beginning when they first start, the classic. I got this guy here. Mild. Whatever. I got the last dab, the one from the end. Where's that at? Right here. Hot. Hot as fuck. And I got one from the middle. Los Calientes. The greenish one. This is fucking bomb. This is so goddamn good. We opened this a couple days ago. I don't know if you can see how low it is. Down to there, yeah. We opened this a couple days ago and fucking eating that much. I ate a bunch of it just this morning. This is my hot sauce shelf. Where's it at? There it is. I got a bunch of stuff in here. These are really good. This one actually was on Hot Ones at one point too. This smoked maple one, or was it this one? The sriracha one or something? One of these was on there. I didn't know they were on Hot Ones. I had them, and then I saw an episode the other day where it was on Hot Ones. I got some Scotch bonnet stuff from Jamaica that my friend Nick got me. I got a bunch of Marie Sharps because I fucking love Marie Sharps. I don't know if you guys have heard Marie Sharps. What I love about Marie Sharps is that it's carrot based. It's not tomato based, and the carrot is almost flavorless. So all you taste is the stuff that's put in there to make it taste good. The seasonings, the habaneros, and all of that. So I got like a bunch of Marie Sharps in here. Some more here. Some more here. All right, lots of Marie Sharps. And so they do a carrot-based sauce, and that's freaking awesome because you're not sucking out a bunch of tomato. Like tomato's acidic on its own, kind of makes everything have almost like this ketchup hint, and you don't have to have so many, or you don't get as much vinegar in there, you know, and then you have the acid from the vinegar, or the base from the vinegar. Right, vinegar is acidic, yeah. Acid from the vinegar and tomato and all of that stuff. It kind of just really fucks up the sauces. But Marie Sharps uses carrot as the base, and it's really, really good. So just figured I'd share that with you, because that's why I got heartburn. I had a bunch of Los Calientes at lunch. I ate a burger, and in the burger, I put Marie Sharp's fire sauce in the burger meat when I make the patties, and I grill it, so then the burger's got a nice little kick to it when you eat it. And then I put a mountain of the Los Calientes on top of that burger. So, I mean, I earned it, right? I definitely deserve that heartburn. But, hi, kitty. Oh, you're cute. Anyway, so Sean came over after our trip to Arizona, and we shot guns, and we smoked pipes, and we worked on the Corvette, and got the Corvette running. Yeah. Dave's Ghost Pepper is also great. So many hard rubber lines getting replaced. I'm not sure what that one's about, but that is what my fucking heartburn's about. I'm looking for my Tums right now. So we shot, we drank a bunch of bourbons and whiskeys and stuff. We went to every liquor store in the state, it felt like, seeing what they had for their limited releases. The rare stuff, you know, that's either small batch or barrel proof or just hard to get, like this 10-year Whistle Pig here. You know, 10-year Whistle Pig, that's a 10-year rye. That double reserve Woodford, those were full bottles when they showed up. The Eagle Rare, that was a full bottle when they showed up. A bunch of other things, and they were full bottles when they showed up. So we had too much fun dealing with that too. And then we finished the Corvette. What did he help me with? I don't remember what he helped me with. Oh, I put the headlights in it. Oh yeah, I put the headlights in it. Put the headlights in it. Got it all buttoned up. Took it to the dyno. And so on Saturday, I put her on the dyno there at Tier 1. And I am fucking bummed. I mean, first off, I know the Tier 1 dyno is a dream crusher, right? We took Igor's 64, 66, for example, or was it 66, 64? Whatever the fuck they are. And at 40-something pounds of boost, made like 700, wheel. 740, I think is what it made, right? Like, yeah. So like, you see guys running those turbos, making, they claiming 900,000 wheel or whatever, which obviously is fucking bullshit, because you're not doing that on those turbos. But at 40-something pounds of boost with big cams, ported heads, and all of that, we did 700s, and then he went out and ran, and he trapped like 139, I think is what it was. I think Igor tried 139, but he was having issues for some reason at 7,000 RPM in fourth gear. It would shut down, and then he couldn't accelerate anymore. It just would shut down. And I checked the map. I checked everything. His there's no speed limits coming in. There was no boost limits. It wasn't even close to them. It wasn't close to anything. It was still happening. So I don't know what it is. We're gonna put a standalone in it and see what it does. But regardless,
he would have trapped even faster had it not been shutting itself down. Now, that's pretty quick still, you know? 138 or whatever, that's still pretty quick. There's a lot of stuff in the chat here. Let me catch up on the chat real quick. People that watch the replay, they can't always see the chat. It takes like a couple of days after the replay is posted for the chat to start showing up. I got to find a way to keep my 12WX hatch. My wife refuses to drive it, but wants a car she can drive at the drop of a hat. Problem? 1 condo parking spot. Okay, so Nick Marson, sell the hatch, get a BMW. Get a B58 powered 440i or 340i or M340i. One of the 40s, sometime like 17, 18 or later. With the 8-speed auto, you won't miss your WRX. I'm just being completely honest with you. You won't miss it. The wife will get to drive it whenever the fuck she wants, which means you won't ever get to drive it because they rip. They absolutely rip. We got my vet on the dyno. We made 400, almost 480 wheel on it, and that's it. But I have a pretty restrictive muffler set on. I got Magna Flows that are pretty small. I'm trying to find a drink. I'm trying to find my freaking Tums. I can't find either. This is really weird. I got pretty restrictive mufflers on it. I didn't think it was going to restrict me that much, but apparently, well, I'm saying apparently, I'm assuming that that's why it didn't make jack shit for power. Well, I say jack shit. I mean, the 460 on our dyno is no joke, right? I mean, that's 11s. That's 10s if you can drive on the tier 1 dyno. So, you know, it's not slow, but it's not anywhere near what I wanted it to be. I mean, I got more displacement, larger cam, larger intake manifold, and I only picked up about 25-30 wheel over what I had before. Doesn't feel right. It didn't pass the sniff test. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is yet. We're going to unbolt the mufflers and give it another shot here in a couple days and see if the power goes up. It's times like these, though, that I wish I had the mass airflow sensor hooked up and going. Because with the mass airflow sensor, you can just look and say, oh, wow, look at that. Mass airflow went up. That modification made a difference. You know, now I'll unbolt the headers or the mufflers and do a pull, and it may or may not read a higher value because it's a fucking dyno. I strapped it on, so once you change the strapping, you potentially change the reading. Once you change the day, you're going to change the reading. Change the weather, you're going to change the reading. Change the air pressure, you're going to change the reading, right? Everything's going to change, so I'm going to have some inconsistencies there already. But the mass airflow sensor, they won't lie. You know, it'll tell me, you at 460 wheel, you're moving this much air. And in the pole, I took the mufflers off, and now I'm moving 50 grams per second more air. Sweet. That's a 50 horsepower increase, technically, but, you know, that's one good thing about a mass airflow sensor. But it's not hooked up. I got it running speed density because I was having issues with it before, and I thought maybe the speed density would help it, and it didn't. But I don't want to fucking put it back on map because then I got to retune the whole thing again. You know, it's just this fucking cycle, never-ending cycle. So, so I think tomorrow or Wednesday we're gonna slide the mufflers off that bitch and give it another shot. And maybe I'll stream it. Maybe it'll be something cool. Maybe we'll see some power come out of it. Maybe we'll see some parts come out of it. I don't know, but it definitely is not great. It's not great. And also, it's way too long-legged. I put that C6 Z06 drivetrain in it. It shifts really nice. I mean, it shifts really nice. And that is really cool. But doing 69 in first gear and 90-something in second gear, it isn't cool. It just isn't cool. The gear's too long. What? You know, you're pulling. And if you don't want it to be as long, you gotta slip the clutch like crazy. I mean, if you think about that, say I want to do like a 4K launch or a 5K launch, that means I'm slipping the car to like 45, 50 miles an hour. Or 40 to 45 miles an hour. That's a lot of clutch slip, right? That is a quick way to make short work of your clutch. That's not good. And I don't want to slip the clutch that much, right? That isn't how I want to drive the car. So ideally, I would have like 390s or 411s in this thing, so that first gear incoming. Prepare yourselves. Hi, Gertrude. How you doing? Hi, kitty. All right. Yeah, so ideally I'd have, 411s or something, so that first gear is, 40, 45 miles an hour, something like that. That would really rip. I'd get some serious G-forces on the launch on that for sure. And the other thing is as much as I love this engine, the LS, it also got good torque. I mean, in 460 or 480 still is, it's no slouch. But it doesn't have that rush, that the forced induction cars have, that turbo cars have. And Chase was talking about putting a blower on it, but the blower won't make it have the turbo characteristics. The blower will make it have bigger NA characteristics, right? So I kind of want to put a couple turbos on it. A couple turb skis, maybe a couple of those G25 550 clones in the VF housings. Maybe something like that. That'd be kind of fun with a couple P18 housings on there. And I'll have 3.1 liters per turbo on a turbo that's made for a 2.5 liter. I think that'd be pretty freaking responsive. I'd have full boost at 2,000 RPM or something, 2,500 maybe. That would rip. That'd be a good time. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I would love to have, mirrored turbos, reverse rotation, normal rotation, so that it's all mirrored on the system. Everything fits really well. That'd be really nice. But I definitely miss the rush of the turbos. I mean, big NA is fun and all, and it's pretty decent on the track, especially if you select your gear correctly. It wouldn't be in this car because those gears are so wide spaced. Like you're always in between gears, and that would not be great. So I think 411s in that transmission is the answer. So I think RPM said they'd do it for like $750 if I send them my rear diff. They put 411s in it. I might need to do that. What do you guys think? Check this live chat because I think it's going by. Let's see. I'm talking suspension bushings and all that. Mine, I'm still the original. I've already replaced every PCV hose. Oh yeah. Do you live in Arizona or something? Drove one today and it feels awful. Oh, I missed that part. I missed that part of it. Gotcha. Replace the car or replace the wife. It's often cheaper to replace the car. You're way too deep in after the Dom mod. Way too deep in the car. There's an excellent opportunity for you to say you're way too deep in the wife too, and then do like a little sexual innuendo wink or something. That would have been good. We could have done that. Matt agrees with the 340i. Nice bar cart. Yeah, thanks, Nick. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. That cart was my grandmother's. Made in the 50s, I think is what it was. It's old as shit. 45 RPM to do 80 and 5th on the Miata. Yeah, that's fucking insane. On the highway in the Vet, at 80 miles an hour, I'm at 1,200 RPM. 1,200! 1,200 RPM, I think. It still gets 30 miles per gallon on the highway, even with the big cam and the CNC port heads and the more displacement and everything, and the gigantic manifold and the bigger throttle body and all that shit. It still gets 30 miles per gallon because you can't give it any throttle. It's just off idle. It's insane. It's crazy. And as much as I love that, and I wouldn't want to give that up, I have to give up something because I need to not do 69 or 66, whatever the fuck it was in first gear.
Just too freaking fast in first gear. Takes away the fun. Like, it's like having a 3-speed transmission, you know? It's insane. A 207 in front of a 5-speed is quite funny. That's better than a 6-speed. Yeah, the 5-speed's really long-legged compared to a 6-speed. A lot of guys don't realize that. A lot of people think that the 6-speed would have a higher top speed, but it doesn't. The 5th gear is longer in the 5-speed than 6 gears in the 6-speed. In all versions except for the Spec B 5 to 6 geared, or the Spec B 6-speed, which I have in my car. I have the 5 and 6 from the Spec B in my RS. But yeah, the 5-speed is way longer than the 6-speed. But also has bigger jumps in between gears, right? And the 6-speed is more of a closer ratio transmission made for being on a road course or whatever. So you always have a good gear. Was lower in the 6-speed. What do you mean? Like more overdriven? What do you mean, Nick? You mean you wish that 6 had more overdrive? Oh, yeah. Well, put the Spec B 5.6 in it. Rally Spec has kits for that. You can buy them from Subaru. If yours is older than 07, then you need the custom keyways that Rally Spec has for them. If it's newer than 07, it's a drop-in. So, put them in. It's the 5.6 cluster. It's not that expensive. It's a few $100, and it's overall easy to do. If you have any transmission experience with Subaru transmissions, it's pretty easy to do. Well, take it to a shop. Take it to Tier 1. Or have Nick, who used to work at Tier 1, do it. He works on 6 speeds. That's my hand. I'm gonna put my phone down for a second so I can open this drink. BA Bug-Eye Trans. What's a BA Bug-Eye? What's a BA Bug-Eye Trans? You mean badass or broken? Oh, revised transmission. Patrick. So the vet pulled all the way to 7,500. I ran it at 75. The vet peaked power at about 7,300 RPM. Once it started to turn down, then I followed it for like a couple hundred RPM and then let off. I don't know where it would have went if I'd gone to 8, but the tack on the vet only goes to 75. And since power was already turning around, I was like, what's the point? But yeah, power peaked at 7,300 RPM. I didn't have a very good correction factor on the dyno either, so I should have compared it to last time, see what the correction factor was on it, because I remember looking over and it was low. I didn't have the intake air temp sensor in the right place on the dyno and a few other things, so it might have made more by the dyno's numbers, that kind of thing, but it's not RE gears. RE gears is a different ratio, right? I put RE gears in my 5-speed out of my 2.5 RS, and that was really cool. I think they were RE gears. I mean, there's WX gears. They were whatever they were, but they were the normal US ratios. They were the US WX ratios. They were supposedly a stronger version of them, but combine that with the 411 final drive of the 2.5 RS training. That was awesome. That was the most fun in any Subaru transmission I've had to date. The 5-speed that I did with the 411 diffs, and then I had to put billet forks in it and shit. And then I had the Cusco tarmac gear center differential. That's like 35-65. But they don't tell you it's also 0-100. Once you start to get slip, it's an open center diff. It's not
a limited slip center diff at all. It's completely open. Just helical gears cut a certain way to distribute torque. So when you break the rears loose, they get 100% power. And that was not known to me when I got it, but it turned out to be the most fun I have ever had in a Subaru. My 2.5 RS with the turbocharged single red cam motor, built bottom end, 30R turbo on it, and the WRX 5-speed gears in my 411 case with the tarmac gear and some billet forks. That was so much fun. I had to build the R160 in the back with some aftermarket gears and have them cryogenically treated and rebuilt and from a professional gear place. But that thing was so much fun. That thing was sideways all the time. I was that idiot that was drifting to Subaru before drifting Subarus were cool. Where'd the power come in at? I don't know what that means. I don't mean that in any sort of sarcastic way. I don't know what you mean by where power come in at. It's NA, so it it just kept climbing. The torque was really pretty darn flat for a long time too. But I don't know what you mean where to come in at. I don't know what that means. There's no turbo, right? So there's no boost. So I can't say like, oh, full boost came in at 35, and that's where it all comes in. But it was NA, so it started down low and then climbed to the top. It wasn't as vertical and steep as the last engine. It was definitely a flatter horsepower curve. Like it wasn't like this. It was like this, climbing. So if that's what you mean, then the answer to that is 2,000 RPM. Because it was almost a straight, it was just a big arc from 2,000 up. That's about where I started the pull, so I don't know. I think peak torque was around 5 or 55, somewhere around there. But yeah, I can't really answer that question very well. I should get a picture of the graph. I never took a picture of it, actually. I should get Chase to send me a... Actually, do that. I'll just fucking show you. How's that? Let's do that.
Yellow.
Hey!
What's that?
How you doing? Could you do me a favor?
Yes.
Could you go to the dyno computer,
Yes.
change air-fuel ratio to torque? Because my graph's still up there, right?
Should be.
And then send me a picture.
Yep, I can do that. So I can go so the weather station's disconnected.
The axes should already be set up appropriately. So you should...
Torque.
Yeah, put torque. And then where's peak torque at?
Oh, on the setting?
No. What's the peak torque value of the car? Like what RPM is the graph the highest?
About 440. Right at 4,500 RPM.
That's peak torque?
Yep.
Cool. I thought it was like 55. Cool. And then...
Wow,
go ahead.
you have a really weird torque curve.
A really weird... Oh, it's got the hump in the middle?
So like 2,500 to 3,200.
Yeah.
It just stays flat at about 340. But then from 3,300 to 4,300, it jumps up to 400.
Foot-pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because it was slipped on the dyno, so I was rolling in the throttle at the beginning of the pull. So like I had the stabilization only set at 1 second, and so as the pull started, I was only like a half throttle, and then I gave it full throttle, and so the initial torque's a little low because it kept burning out on the dyno.
Yeah, I just shot the photo to the group chat.
Okay. So can you send it to this phone? The one I'm calling you from?
Yes.
The biz line.
There you go. Probably get a clearer photo. I'm gonna send you a better photo.
Okay, appreciate it.
I turned the light off so there's not a glare on it.
Well, look at you, like a fucking professional photographer.
I know. And sent. There you go.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
See you, bud. All right. I have no idea how camera to camera is going to work, but we're going to try it. Or phone to phone camera. So, zoom in a little bit. Move it over here. So he said it had a weird looking torque curve because he sees 300. Oh, I didn't get the axes very well. 350. Let's see if you see that. So 350 wheel torque up to 3,000-ish. But like I said, or 3,500. I was easing in the throttle on the dyno because it was burning out too easy. So then I get full throttle. You see it makes about 400 at full throttle. Whoopsie. At 3,750, peak torque is 540 foot-pound. 440 foot-pounds. So 440 foot-pounds of peak torque at 4,500. And peak horsepower. Oh, this diagram says, oh, this wasn't the last graph. Oh. Well, it says 7,000 is when it ended the run, but that wasn't the case. So this must have been one of the earlier ones before I was done. Yeah, the power is lower too. But I was having slip issues, so, but you get an idea. Yeah, put it up. So I stopped at 7K. But I was actually running to like 75. So the speed wasn't quite tracking with the RPM on the dyno. This doesn't have a dyno. This doesn't have a tack pickup on it. It just uses the roller speed. So if the tires grow or shrink, which either one can happen on the dyno, or I don't get the calibration within so many RPM down low, when you set it, it's off even more up top. So there could be a combination of things on this as to why it's not showing me on the 75. But this also isn't the last run that I did, and I was cutting a few of them short because the air fuels weren't quite right or whatever I was going for at the time. What's crazy about this is I did a bunch of pulls on it. I didn't touch timing at all. I was just trying to get the air fuels correct because they weren't. At the start, it was going way lean. At like 5,000, it was going way lean. So I fixed that by putting a lot of VE in the VE table, and I was really hopeful. When that happened, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, we're going to make some power now. I got to add a bunch of VE to this thing? Hell yeah. So I added a bunch of VE. We did pick up a lot of power when the fuel came in. And then I was like, man, it just isn't as much power as I think it should be, But I hate going into a dyno session with like a preconceived notion or like a goal. And I don't usually do that, but I'm gonna blame this on Igor. Igor kept saying, oh, it's better make 500 or whatever he would tell me all the time. So I think I kind of had that stuck in my head. And so I was like, well, that's not as much power as I thought it would make. Maybe I just need more timing. So I added 1.5 degrees to it, and power dropped 5 horse. And then I went the other way, so I pulled 3 off of that, and power dropped 15 horse. And I was like, huh, my initial timing map was correct. And I put my old time map back on it, and it made the most power again. So I somehow managed to predict the exact amount of correct timing for this car and this engine. Now, that being said, it's really important to remember that we're at 2,000 feet, and NA cars suffer a lot when you go up in elevation. You lose a lot of power on NA cars, and it isn't like a little bit. It's a lot. It would be the difference of up here. This car isn't the case, but a car might not have enough power to even break the tires loose and do a burnout. And then you go down to sea level and you can just line it down the whole street. My CTSV was supercharged, and it was that way too. I could do a rolling burnout when I lived in Seattle on command at anything under like 50 or 60 miles an hour, just nail it, and the back tires break loose. I came up here to give my stepdad a ride. Like, check this out. Blah! Like, huh. Yeah, so there's, you lose a lot of horsepower when you get up in elevation. So these numbers that we get here in our dyno, people should try not to forget that, we're at 2,000 feet. We're not at 4,000 feet, which would be even worse, but we're at 2,000 feet. And on an NA car, that's going to be like 15%, or more for horsepower reduction at 2,000 feet. It's fucking significant. When you're at sea level and it's a cool day, and the air is just a little thicker, a little denser, and anywhere, I guess if you're at 2,000 feet and it's a cool day, you can feel the power increase, right? Imagine when the air is just plain more dense. There's a big difference. So, as much as I wish that I had higher numbers right now, it might just be that's just what the fuck it is, So I don't know. I don't know yet. We're gonna pull the mufflers off it and see if that's a restriction. Oh, that's another thing too. People always say, oh, the mass airflow sensor, that's your restriction. The mass airflow sensor is super restrictive. Oh, it's your airbox. Your airbox is really restrictive. We took it off. I did straight throttle body. I did 2 pulls back to back. I did a pull. I didn't even turn the engine off. I went under the hood. I pulled the whole intake tube off, straight throttle body. I did a pull. It was the exact same power curve and the exact same number within 1/10 of a horsepower. Mass airflow sensor is not restrictive. And that's the stock LS6 mass airflow sensor that came on that Corvette. It had 461 wheel horsepower at the time is what I made. And I pulled it off. And I made exactly 461 wheel horsepower again. 2 pulls back to back. I checked it, exact same timing, exact same everything. Like, the fuck was that? It is not restrictive. And that was with the Veraram intake on it as well. So it had air filter, air box, the mass airflow sensor, the tube, and the air horn thing that they have that comes over the, they call it the air bridge, that goes over the radiator, going into the throttle body. Not 1/10 of 1 horsepower was different on the dyno pole. So all those guys that have all their fucking speculation on the internet that always say, oh, you gotta take the screen out of your mass airflow sensor. That's good for like 8 horsepower. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, those guys are dumb as fuck. That ain't good for any horsepower. I've had so many guys that have, I de-honeycombed my mass airflow sensor, took all the straighteners out of that because I didn't want all that restriction. And I was always like, what? Okay, I guess. There's stuff there. That could be it. Yeah, no, dude. Nope. Took it out completely. Not a fucking 1/10 of a horsepower. So if you have a Corvette and people telling you to take out your mass airflow sensor, just fucking chuckle and then never trust them ever again. And I bet those are probably the same guys that go, I never jerk off. Sure you don't. Yeah, you never do that either. Yeah. If you know anyone that claims they don't jerk off, that person is not trustworthy. Never trust them for anything ever, especially not money. Yeah, that person's a fucking liar. So, mass airflow sensor, not restrictive. Bullshit. So, I do have restrictions somewhere. Now, this car has cats in it. There are 2 high flow cats in the exhaust, and it has the MagnaFlow mufflers. So, one of those could potentially be causing a restriction. Or it could just be that this dyno fucking hates me and enjoys watching me struggle with the results, which could be too. See big cars give away a lot down low and make it pain. Oh no, this thing is, Patrick, this thing is easy to drive. If you're still here, the thing drives great. The only issue I have is that I chose poorly on the clutch. I did not realize that I had ordered the ACT that had the Pro Light flywheel in it, and I didn't realize that this was an unsprung clutch, and because of that, there is so much torque tube noise. Holy God, it's bad. And then there's a resonance when you're leaving a stoplight or a stop sign, or just a stop, I should say. You're leaving a stop. There's like 1600. There's a resonance that happens in the torque tube, and to the transmission goes real quick. But other than that, I mean, it's other than the resonance, which is a product of too light of a flywheel and no springs in the clutch. It drives great. I mean, the engagement on the clutch is beautiful. It's super smooth. It's easy on the foot. Like, takes no pressure, pedal pressure at all. It's easy to drive. It is super easy to drive. It's got way more torque than it had before. I think down low, I think it's got another 100 pounds of torque down low. I have to find the old graph, but it sure feels like it's a lot more. I might have the graph on this phone, actually. So I'll tell you, Patrick, there's no compromise on here. It didn't feel like any compromise at all. Must see people's broken butt dynos. Yeah, that's the issue with butt dynos, man. They are subject to interpretation, and most interpretations are absolute shit. I've had numerous customers go, "I went and got my car tuned somewhere else, and it feels faster than when you tuned it." And I'm like, "Oh, well, let's put on the dyno and find out." "Well, that's weird. You made 50 less horsepower," or they do it and they go to the track and they run a slower time, and they're like, "I don't understand why. It feels so much faster." And I'm like, "Well, the issue is that I didn't lie to you. When I did your tune, I didn't give you, because there are things tuners can do to make the car feel fast, and there's a difference between feeling fast and being fast when it comes to the butt dyno. And I deal with it all the time. I tell people all the time, like, man, I'm sorry, but it ain't. You're incorrect. I mean, look at the power difference. Look at the time and a quarter mile difference. Just the shape of the power curve alone can give somebody a completely different feel. It can give you a totally different feel. And if the power curve feels different, or if you're looking for something, like, "Oh man, I really, this mod's gonna be so much more horsepower," and then they do it and they drive it, "Oh yeah, it feels so much better." Like, there's just so much of that confirmation bias that they're trying to satisfy by having this mod. They are looking for a gain. They're looking for it to happen, and it just fucking doesn't exist in most of the cases. So, all right. So I'm going through my old pictures here. I'm trying to find my old graph. Is this right here? Okay, here's one. So from this build, this was last time it was on the dyno. It made 300 foot-pounds of torque up to 35, then it went up to 400 by 4,500. So it's got a good 50 less foot-pounds of torque at 4,500. It's not even a full 400. And down low, it's only 300 foot-pounds under 35. And what did I say the other one was? Let's see. Where are you? Where's my other one? That was the dyno session where I thought I spun a bearing, so I'm not going to go to that. I'm going to go to a different one. The one before that where the car just ran the best it's ever run. Let's see, here's pictures of my mullet, so I'm getting close. Here's some firearm pictures that I wish I could share with you, but they might be in my hand, so I can't because it'll kill my stream. And And I'm sure I tripped some algorithm on YouTube where it doesn't tell hardly anybody that my shit's live or that I've got videos posted or whatever. I gotta work on my clickbait titles, guys. So if you want to give me some ideas on clickbaity titles that I can use, then I'd appreciate it. Do I need to say that Tuner Wars? This tuner bet me this much money that my car would do X or Y, and he was wrong, and this is why, or something. I don't know. I don't think it was in December or November. When the hell did I do it? I take too many pictures. I think that's a... Let's think about this. When did I do it before? I did it in the old house, so before I moved, right? So I did it in the old house. I moved in 2020, and I moved in June or July of 2020. So it's before then. I streamed some of it, and that got pinged by YouTube for having music in it. Nope, not that one. I'm sure this is super exciting. That's the bummer with live streams, right? I can't edit out the time where I'm searching for stuff. I can't edit out the really super boring shit. I can't edit out even the somewhat boring stuff. Here we go. Yeah, so last time I was on the dyno, the car made 400 pounds of torque at 4,700, and it was down at 320 from the bottom up to 35. It's really pretty, actually. Let me show you. If I get to rotate. This was the old power curve. I don't know if you can see it or not. The torque is really flat. Torque is really flat. Similar curve though, right? And what's crazy with how similar that curve is how much it's changed since then. The cam is way larger. I mean, it's not even close to the same size. And yet, that's what the small difference that happened. Bring it back up again. This actually has more torque lower. It's at 340 from the bottom. But like I said, even then I wasn't at full throttle because it was spinning tires. So it's got at least as much torque down low. And then I picked up 440 peak torque by 4,500. And at 4,000, it was over 400. So it's actually more torque down low across the power band. But I added displacement. When I went from a 5.7 to a 6.2. So in theory, it should pick up power everywhere. So that's a given. It's the same heads. It's more displacement, larger cam, larger intake, larger throttle body. And the power did not go up as much as I thought it should have. But again, fucking dynos, man. They like to give you wacky shit. So, pop the mufflers off, give it another shot. And if that doesn't work, I could try cam timing. I don't think that's going to be enough, though, right? I mean, I can try some cam timing, but I see the whole power band, right? I have a peak, I have the low, I see where it falls off. So all I'm going to do is move that peak left or right, and I don't want to do that. I guess that means I got to put turbos on it. And I got to put 411s in that motherfucker. God damn it. Where should I send my rear end for 411s? That's my question. Who's a Corvette guy? Where the fuck do I send this rear end to get 411s? Do 90-degree exhaust port on the exhaust. Man, you know what? You were right. I totally forgot. I totally forgot about that. I should make sure that it's got a 90-degree angled exhaust port right next to the valve. You're right, dude. You are fucking right. You were talking about the clutch. Mantic organic twin disc. I bought the X Clutch organic sprung twin disc for my Subaru, and I'm excited to run that because it's a big organic too. So it isn't like they lost a lot of surface area on the clutch. So I'm really excited about that. Buff leg gang. Why? What's Eric at? Oh, that's right, Eric is Razor. I can assure you my car is now making more than the 203 horsepower from when I had it tuned. Oh, when you had a junior car, is that what you're talking about, Eric? With the live streams, you could go back and add some timestamps in a pinned comment for people to refer back to. Yes, absolutely. If you want to do that, be my guest. Of course, I could also put it in the description. Do an 90 report on the exhaust. We talk about that. So what are you guys doing? Besides listening to me ramble on about Corvette stuff. What do you guys got going on this week? Tomorrow I have to tune Craig's old RS, the old MPS RS, the silver one. Got to leave work. Nice. Yeah, it sounds like you're having ignition issues. There's actually a common problem with those, Eric, is the cam signal loses sync during those breakups. And what you have to do often on the 207s is ignore the cam signal over 2000 RPM because it only uses cam signal to establish sync. And once it establishes sync, you don't need to keep reestablishing sync. Once it knows where it's at, then it counts. It doesn't even use the cam sensor anymore, or trigger 2, for anything other than reestablishing sync if it loses it for some reason. But what you will get is a lot of sync errors, and if the cam starts dropping out, you'll get sync errors, and then it'll fuck up your ignition and have a bunch of breakups and that kind of stuff. So in the Link software, there's an option in the trigger section where you can change the RPM. I think it's like 12,500 from the factory. You can make that say 2,000, and then you won't have any more sync errors. That was a problem that we had on a bunch of cars, actually. I've had that problem on a bunch of 207 swapped cars with Link and other systems. You gotta stop it from continually checking sync over an RPM. What was the red bug eye with that my cams in it and the 207 with the 2.3 bottom end? What was his name? I totally forgot his name. I'm totally brain dumping that. But yeah, he had that problem in his, and it was just causing so many issues. And then I was like, hey, what's this do? Oh, look at that. I can ignore the fucking cam sync. Put that at 2,500 or 2,000 RPM, and bam, every problem we had went away. That simple. So sometimes that's a very common thing to deal with. And it's a simple fix that not many people know even exists. So I don't know if I'd call that one Junior's fault. If that's what it was, that might not have been his fault. But that's something for you to look into if you still have any issues with it breaking up or losing sync or whatever. Oh, I thought you were on a link on that one. I could have swore you said you're on link ECU before when we talked. That was factory ECU? It wasn't that. That was factory ECU, then just buck everything I just said. For some reason, I thought you had a link in it. Where do you work, Nick? Nick says he's about to leave work. This was on a math tune. It was breaking up. Yeah, but factory ECU, right? super exciting topic right now. I know, it's on the edge of your seats. I don't tell you guys right now. I had that vacation. It was long. It was fun. Had a great time. But I don't have any cool car stuff to talk about. Tomorrow I tuned the Silver RS. It's got a 2.3 in it now. I had a 2.5 before. It's got fresh cams, not mine, just Telford E's. It's got a new Gen 2 3071. So mixed with a 2.3, should have a really broad, fun power band. The engine does not have ABCS. It's on a factory 2-liter ECU with 2-liter heads. So unfortunately, no ABCS, but lots of overlap because no ABCS and E cams. So it should have a pretty nice idle to it, a little bit of a lope to it, just spool relatively quickly on that engine, and it should have just really a fairly wide power band. That'd be a lot of fun. With ABCS, it would spool even faster and have even more up top. Oh, dude, the link is awesome. You should get it. If you got a bug eye, like, I hate the factory ECU. The 16-bit ECU is just absolute jank. If you got a bug eye or a blob eye that's a 205 powered car or a 207 powered car, get the fucking link. Get the link because you don't got to redo the wiring. Just do the link. You know? I mean, if you have a wiring issue, then sure, you want to do that. I mean, that makes sense. You want to fix the wiring issue, but yeah, man, it's really nice. Just do what the fuck you want. I mean, I tell people all the time, I can make a map do whatever I want it to do. I can set whatever axes I want. I can set whatever input I can want. I can set the input or the axis to be an input. I can set the axis to be a math channel. I can set it to be whatever the fuck I want. You know, you could put knobs and rheostats on your dash that could alter the tune parameters while you're doing it. You know, things like that. You can go fuck yourself, James. I would never do a math tune on a link. I mean, you could. You absolutely can, and it's made to do that. Obviously, I'm joking, James. Yeah, it's obviously you could do a math tune on a link. It's absolutely set up to do that, and there's, you know, like I said, math is more precise. I just don't usually do it on the link, probably because I'm so proficient at it in speed density. But you absolutely could do a math tune on the link, and it would still be a better result, I feel, than the factory ECU. Could I have it work better with the blow-off valve? Maybe. I might be able to. I have to see if I could have it ignore the math under certain conditions. I have to look into that. I've never done it on a link, you know. I know it has options for a math meter. I know it has options for all of that, but I've never tuned one in math on the link. I know on an M-Tron I absolutely can. On the M-Tron I can set it up to listen to, I can put two tunes on it simultaneously, a speed density tune and a mass airflow sensor tune, or a T-map tune, which is pressure across the throttle body. I could absolutely do that. And then you have a blending table, and you just tell it to use whatever calculation you want. And you can set it to be 100%, you can set it to be 0%, you can set it to be 9%, you know, one calculation versus the other. So you can have it blend the two at 50-50. You can have it just throw, you know, 90% of one calculation and 10 of the other. You know, I don't know why you want such a small blending ratio, but you could. I guess if it was in a transient area. So you could absolutely do that with an M-Tron. And I would like to do a car that has a huge fucking turbo and a huge fucking math, and put it on there like a big GM 4-inch inlet card math that's no way going to cause any restriction to the turbo, and put it in there and use it for the top end only. Use it to tweak in every little bit of the top end and have it be absolutely precise and accurate all the time on the top end. I think that'd be really cool. I would like to do that. And maybe I will. Maybe with this compound kit, that's what I should do. I'm not opposed to that. You know, with the compound turbo sub on the RS, I have an M-Tron. I might just throw a freaking MAF on it. I have a GM MAF set up and all that shit that I could put right into the Subaru. A big 4-inch fucker right there at the end of the turbo and do that. So, dude, I fucking hate the old ECUs. I hate the green connectors, you know. There was a period of time where I wasn't a big fan of the GRs and their ECU because Cobb hadn't fully defined all of it yet. And I just was like, I'd rather just plug in this shit and, you know that everything is good. But now, when I get a non-CAN bus car, I'm like, fuck. A non-CAN bus car, I'll be doing something to tune and go, oh, I need to change this and this, and I go, oh, fuck, but that requires a reflash. All right, I'm gonna do these other things first. And then I'll change these things and reflash it. So sometimes I'm just like, nah, fuck it, I gotta reach under there, throw my shoulder out of socket again, you know, do all those things. And yeah, so I'll postpone changes of the tune because I don't want to do the reflash because I don't want to put the connectors together and then take them apart and all of that. Yeah, that's funny. And on Legacies it's the worst because it's on the passenger side of the car. So I got to freaking either get out of the car, walk to the side, or climb over the center console and grab the connectors on the ECU and put them together. It sucks. It sucks a lot. So yeah, and that's not the 16-bit, right? That's 32 bits from 07 and under, basically. Club soda. It's decent for heartburn because it's got sodium shit in it. Sodium bicarbonate, which is basically Tums, right? Isn't Tums sodium bicarbonate? Or is it calcium carbonate? Or is it calcium bicarbonate? What's the Tums? What is that? I think it's sodium bicarbonate, right? Yeah, that's funny. Like, oh, thank God. Have the switch. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, and the MAF thing. So like with this compound turbo thing, right? I'm gonna have to mess with switchover points. Where do I want the wastegate to open? Do I want it to open at so many pounds of boost, or do I want to target it based on exhaust manifold pressure? The wastegate in between the turbos. So I'm gonna have that whole thing to deal with on that. And with a mass airflow sensor, I can see, it's plain as day, what gives me more airflow when. So the mass airflow sensor will be very handy when I'm doing wastegate spring changes and I'm trying to figure out when is the best time to open that thing up. And that'll be really cool. So maybe I will do that. Means I can't put it on my Corvette though, you know, because that factory Corvette MAF is so restrictive. Yeah, dude, the forums everywhere. People pulling the screens out of their MAF. It just blows my mind. Blows my fucking mind. It's all that restriction, bro. Like, do you think that's more restriction than your air filter? Like a straight through honeycomb screen is more restriction than an air filter? I mean, I get there's a lot more surface area in the air filter. Like, that's a given. That's why there's so much surface area in an air filter to reduce the total restriction. But for them to think that that screen is still more restrictive than their air filter is just really, really weird to me. Yeah, really weird. But it's a common thing you see a lot of guys do in the F-bodies and C5. De-screen the MAF. So, anyways, guys, I'm running out of things to talk about. And I just want to say thank you for coming by, for those that did. And I'm going to be doing more videos that are, oh yeah, I hear you, buddy. More videos that are pre-made and less live streams. I'm still doing live streams, but I'm going to do some more videos. I gotta set the tablet up and some more educational videos, and use my Stream Deck, and change some scenes and that kind of shit, and try and improve the production quality of the videos again here in the future. It won't be super soon because I have so much stuff going on. Oh, that's right. That's one of the things. My damper The prototype damper is going to be made here in the next week, and then I will start testing the proto damper and figuring out if I need different oil viscosities, if I need to change any of the port sizes on it, or the weight of the disc. So that's gonna be done here pretty soon. I'm also looking into, oh, for sure. I'm also looking into maybe having these extruded or cast, the iron part, the heavy part. Cutting a ring out of a solid chunk of steel is expensive and difficult and time consuming, and there's a lot of waste. Whereas if I have them extruded or cast in a shape that's a few thou larger than the final shape, and then I just final machine them at the end, and that saves a lot of money in machine time and material and all of that. But of course, there's the initial tooling cost, which is many thousands of dollars. But I think if my prototype testing goes well and everything works as expected, then dropping the money in the tooling will be worth it, I think. I gotta run the numbers. Right now, the pulleys don't make much money. Like, I don't make jack shit when I sell a pulley. I wish I could get my margin up on those, but I gotta stay competitive on price. And material costs right now are just through the roof. So material and machine time is just so expensive. And then I got a guy that just emailed me, said he got his pulley and had a huge dent in it. And I look at the picture and I can't see how the fuck that even happened, because it's not an inbox damage, and it surely wasn't packaged that way. So that sucks. It honestly looks like the dude dropped it. But, you know, I don't want to be like, hey bro, it's obvious you dropped your shit, you know, because there's still the possibility he might not have. But the damage is this round dent on one of the pulley ribs. It isn't into the rib, right? Well, yeah, and that's absolutely possible, but there's no damage on the box, and it's wrapped pretty heavily, and the shape of it, like, it's a flat box, 6x6, and there's a round pulley in the middle of it, and the dent is round. Like, it's a round, perfectly smooth, like you dropped it on the corner of something round. It would not be an impact with the ground, right? The ground itself would not give you a perfectly round or half round dent in this pulley. You would have a mushroomed flat section. Not this perfectly round dent. So I'm really perplexed as to how the fuck that happened. That being said, it's only cosmetic. It didn't get into the ribs, like it didn't deform it where the belt rides, I don't think, by the pictures. So I'll just turn it on a lathe and knock the dent part down a little bit so it's not quite as ugly, and just run on my own fucking car, you know. But it sucks, right? Because now I pay shipping on this shit, and the loss of that one pulley negates the profit from 4 other sales. That's the shit that happens if you have low margin on the part. You lose one, you do one warranty, and it negates the profit for a portion of sales, and that's not viable, right? If you know, if I have a 10% damage rate and it knocks out 40% of my profit, that's not a viable business plan, right? That doesn't work. Can't do that. And 10% damage is not beyond the realm, you know, of possibility. So that would not be any good. Want me to sign it? I'll sign it. Do I sign it in ink and then fucking engrave over it? Because, you know, it's going to wash off. Wonder if I could... Oh, I know I can. I can sign it. I can sign my screen and put that in as an image in SolidWorks and have my signature on there, and then have the machine go and cut my signature out of it. If I rub my nuts on it, will you pay extra? That's funny. Let's see. Oh God. Well, you gotta have them to include them. Hey. Woo. Oh shit. All right. Well, it's 4 o'clock. I need to get some more shit done. So I'm gonna go back to work, and I hope you guys have a good day. For those of you that are in Central or Mountain Time, you're already on your way home and everything. Kiss the wife for me. Tell her I said hi. She likes it when you put your tongue a little to the side. I'm just kidding. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good day. Have a good week. If the silver car works out tomorrow, like it's actually ready, because they're still building the downpipe for it. If it's actually ready, then I'll stream that for a little while until the phone dies and have a little fun with that. And maybe we can see some cool results out of it. And a little 2.3 that revs out a little bit might be a little fun. A little bit of fun. I have no idea how high the engine revs. I cannot remember what I set it to before when I tuned it once, back a long time ago. But since then, it's been tuned by Cobb or somebody else, because it's been sold a couple times. So I don't remember what that thing revs out to, if it even is a high rever or not. But the 2.3s are always a lot of fun. They sound cool. They look cool. You know, they make a nice wide power band typically. So I'm hoping that that's a good result. If it is, it'd be pretty sweet. And so I'll potentially stream that tomorrow. And then on my schedule, I also have. Do I have it on this phone? I don't know if I have my schedule on this phone. It's on the phone I'm taking the video with. Oh, shit. But if I look at it, it'll stop the video. Although YouTube did fix the thing, right, where you can watch a video and not be on the video screen anymore. That was really nice that they did that. Because everyone always bitched about, how is YouTube so bad I can't even listen to a song or watch a video and do something else on my phone. What is my schedule? So I have an FA on Wednesday. I got a Forester on Wednesday that's been having some issues. And then I got a GTR. It's a built R35 GTR with the Omega 16s or Omega 12 turbos, whatever they are, the 12 horsepower turbos. So I got that on Thursday and Friday. That might be fun. We'll see if that happens or not. Sometimes these cars show up and they're just not ready. Hopefully that's not the case, but you know, it could be. So this week could be exciting. And maybe if Tuesday works out and that car is done quickly, then I can put the vet on the dyno and slide the mufflers off and see what it does. I dented the shit out of my gas tank. I put the vet on the dyno yesterday or Saturday. The pad eyes that you hook into, they're tall, and the vet is not. And when the rear tires dropped into the rollers, the car went bam and dented the gas tanks, both of them. You know, there's one on each side, so that sucked. Didn't puncture though, so that's good. Thankful for that. Let's see. You guys have seen that. I had those done at Travis Pattern. Actually, it's funny. Travis Pattern's website is up right here. This is the foundry that's local to us. They do cast iron and cast aluminum. So I'll have them do the castings for the end tanks. Once I get the end tank design finalized, I'll have them do the casting on those. Sure. I don't know what I changed, but why not? Ruin my thing. So this week should be kind of fun. Next week, I have an Evo scheduled. An Evo that's got a link in it. Barry's Evo. It's an 8 with a decent set of cams and a decent turbo. It was on the dyno before, but something was wrong with the way the turbo was set up because it didn't make full boost to like 5,000 RPM. It was just, it was, I think this wastegate actuator was improperly loaded. There was exhaust coming out of his dump tube at idle. So that means you're losing lots of pressure, you know, pre-turbo. So he fixed that and fixed a couple other issues that we had. I think some electrical and some other things. So hopefully on Wednesday the 8th, his car is ready for the big tune because I like his Evo. It's a cool Evo. And I'll probably do the final tune on that silver RS on Tuesday the 7th because tomorrow's RS tune's gonna be mostly just break-in tune, low boost. But I'm gonna run it up to like 7,000 RPM like once or twice. Even though the motor's fresh, you got to do it. And then I give blood on Friday. So we'll see how I'm feeling that day, if I'm ready or not to do more shit. But that's all I have on the schedule for next week for tunes right now, which means I have more time to get the other cars running, which I'm trying to do is get the other cars running. Or, excuse me, I might have to cancel some tunes because I have to go to Ohio to work on that car, the twin turbo Nova. And I do have to cancel a tune I have with James on the 17th because some shit came up and I have to go out of state. So I got to fix that. But anyways, Ohio, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you've seen the, I wish I was going home work second shift to myself 10 hours a night. Oh, that's boring. If you've seen the Nova in the stream, you haven't seen it lately because now he's got the turbos on it. And excuse me, I got some gas. And the turbos sound really nice. I will post pictures of it actually on my Facebook page today with a little 5-second video where it's throwing flames after a rev. So if you're interested in seeing the 69 Nova with the twin turbos hanging on the front of an LS, all hand built by a guy who learned to weld while building it, it's still pretty cool. It's definitely pretty cool. And we're adding some more instrumentation to it. And what's funny is that this is going to be the most instrumented car that he's ever owned in his life. But the way I have it set up is really cool because it doesn't continually need those instruments, because if you have a lot of failure points, then you're likely to have issues. But it has continual data gathering so that if there is issues, I can use that data. And there's a handful that it will use, but I have, it's a Haltech 2500 Elite in it with an expansion box. So I have a bunch of non-essentials or things that don't affect the way the vehicle runs on the expansion box for gathering data and things like that. And then I have the essentials on the Haltech to control the way it operates. Because if you have essentials on the expansion box and the expansion box fails or loses CAN communication in the middle of a run due to interference or whatever, well then that wouldn't really be a very good setup, would it? So I don't have that. So it'll be cool. It'll be cool, and we got to get it on the track. There's an event coming up in October, so I have to get out there either this week or next week to get it tuned. So I'll have to reschedule a few tunes for that in order for that to happen. But I will be streaming that, and we'll be at the track. Hopefully, turning out times on the first time out, they get us kicked off. But that's everyone's goal, right? I would say the sub goal is just successfully running the car down the track would be a good sub goal for that. I'm gonna do a low boost tune and a high boost tune. The low boost, the idea is to have it somewhere around 900, and the higher boost, the idea is gonna be somewhere around 1500 horsepower to the wheels. The turbos should do it. The turbos will do around 1900 horsepower at the crank by their ratings. But I don't know what the engine will do. I mean, the engine will be able to handle close to that. It's built pretty well. But it's a D-stroked LQ, so it's 327 cubic inches. with a pretty gnarly cam in it, a Holley high rise and 2 turbos. So it should do all right. It should be a good time. If I can get the turbos to spool, that's gonna be our challenge. I think is getting the spool on the automatic. Might be hard to do without enough displacement to spool 2 950 horsepower turbos. Um, they're twin Borgs with the 9180 compressor wheel in them. I think it's 9180 wheel. So we'll see. I'll have turbo speed in both. That's being fed into the ECU so that I can verify that both turbos have the same load on them, and I have exhaust gas back pressure on both banks as well, so that I can track back pressure on the banks, since we don't have an equalizing tube between the two of them, which I think will happen in the future. I would like to see it happen sooner rather than later, just to be sure. But it may turn out that we add a large equalizing tube that actually is a double Y, a Y leaving one bank and enter another bank, and then putting a butterfly pre-turbo on one of the other turbos to allow us to spool one turbo on the line, and then upon departure to open the butterfly on the second turbo and let them come in. So we'll see what it takes, and I think it'll be a fun series when we present the issues and show how we are troubleshooting or handling those issues, because it can be a lot of fun to do that kind of stuff. So anyways, now I'm gone. Now I'm leaving. And I do that a lot. I say I'm going to go, and then I have like 19 more things to say. So now I'm actually going. Thanks again for stopping by, and I hope you guys have good weeks. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. What's up, Kenneth? Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully the car is worth even streaming about. And if not, then I'll see you later on in the week. Have a good night, guys. And I'll see you on Discord. If you guys have any questions. Kenneth, I think I busted your balls a little bit about something because you brought up fucking torque solutions. It's like you're trying to get kicked off the channel. I don't know what it is. Anyways, I'll see you around, man. Have a good one. Oh, I can't hit the button.